Okay, thanks for tuning in to this Rad Garage Winter Update episode. I won't be doing any detailing, unfortunately, in this video, but I will be giving some updates on some important aspects of surviving winter up here in Canada, including the new winter tires that I have on the SQ5. I've also been demoing a radar detector that my friends at TunerWorks have lent me just to get my impressions. I want to talk a little bit about whether or not I really even need one. Other things that I'd like to talk about in this episode are some new Bendpak acquisitions, including a chair and this really cool light sticks. So I'll be sharing a little bit about that. Also, the Tuxmats are about a year old now, so I'd like to show you how those have been performing. And what else? I'll give you some information about an upcoming live stream with Pam the Organizer on November 30th. I'm very excited about that. I'm sure there's a few other things that I'll bring up, so stick around. And here's my winter update. These things are awesome. They provide so much protection just by the way they're designed. Much better than the OEM rubber winter mats I was using previously. So Tuxmats reached out to me about a year ago and offered to send me a set to get my impression, but I haven't really been in contact with them since. I'm not sure if the person who I was dealing with just forgot about me, but I've sent a few emails just to say thanks and to give them some impressions, but I haven't heard back. One slight irritation I have is with, I'll bring the camera in here. The water contains salt, and the water saturates except for the upper portion here on the pedals, the water saturates every square inch of this mat. And then when the water evaporates, what's left behind is this salt residue. And the salt residue really likes to stick around in this seam where the stitching is along the border. So that's been a little bit of a pain for me in trying to keep these clean and looking great. But cleaning this part's not so hard at all. But for a quick clean, I find I haven't developed a quick system to get in this. When the weather's nice, I'll pull them out and I'll actually just pressure wash these. And so that gets rid of the salt that gets stuck everywhere. But when I'm doing my quick clean, I'll spray a cleaner, I'll vacuum up the muddy liquid, and then I'll just go over it with a microfiber, but that does leave behind this residue. Not sure if anybody else experiences the same frustration, but that's what happens with salt. It wicks. The water wicks, evaporates, leaving the salt residue behind. And I know there's some of you out there that can completely sympathize with this situation. But overall, these have been wearing really well. The only wear that I do see is just some slight wear right here where my heel. But I'll clean these up and give you a look after. And I think I'm going to use a little brush, just a little bristle brush, to get in these seams and get that salt residue. Salt. I'm not going to do the thorough clean where I pressure wash them on the driveway just because it's like minus 20 out there. So what I use is rubber mat and liner cleaner from Adams. Love this stuff. If you watch my videos, you'll know that. It's one of my favorites. So I just like to saturate this dirty mat with the cleaner, let it soak in a bit. And I'm going to use my DeWalt shop vac just to get the mud out. And then I just do a quick wipe with a microfiber towel. All right. This will not get the salt out of those seams, although it only really seems to be bad on the driver's side. This is the passenger mat. So that quick vacuum sucked up probably 90% of the dirt, and then I'm just going to go over it now. Yeah, not bad, doesn't take long. Pop those back in. They'll be good for another day or two before they're completely dirty again. Not even exaggerating. All right. So like I said before, this is a quick clean. This process doesn't take too long. It gets things about, I'd say, 90% clean, but given the time I have and the weather outside, it's the best I can do. Still pretty darn good. And yeah, very, very, very pleased with these Tuxmats. Just took me a while to even consider putting in a different mat, but I'm glad I did, and I'm thankful to the team at Tuxmat for reaching out and offering to help me out. There we go. Almost as good as new. All right, let's move on. I was watching in the news today how the East Coast, specifically Buffalo, got hit hard with a snowstorm. And I could completely empathize with folks who, face those challenges in the winter. And we face some pretty interesting conditions up here where I am. And one thing that really helps me survive the winter is having a capable set of winter tires. So these TSW wheels are entering their 5th winter season. This is the Sprint by TSW. This is a 20 by 8.5 inch wheel. It's finished in glossy gunmetal. Previously, I was using the Nokian R5 R2s, but they were getting old. They had definitely seen their fair share of abuse. So in the fall, hopefully you saw the video, I equipped the SQ5 with these Nokian 𝗧𝗢𝗄𝗧 R5 SUV winter boots, and they have been absolutely awesome. The thing that really impresses me most is just the comfort level of this tire. Normally when I would switch from my summer performance to my winter tires, the things were just a little soft, the cornering was, just off a little bit, but these guys, these R5s, oh man, it's hard to know that they're even a winter tire the way they perform. We don't often have snow on our streets. We have so many temperature fluctuations and they use so much salt on our roads that we're usually driving on bare pavement in the winter. So it's part of the reason I didn't go with studded is because we're usually on pavement. We're not on ice and snow. But the way these behave, really, really exciting for me, because I don't want to lose a lot of performance and control and handling for 6 or 7 months of the year. So right off the bat, the performance of these on dry conditions has been great. I have also had the opportunity to try these out in snowy conditions, and they're just awesome. Part of that, I think, has to do with the fact that the SQ5 has the Quattro all-wheel drive system, which is, I think, the best around. But equipped with the Nokian R5s, this SQ5 has not had any issue finding traction and grip in the winter conditions. Now, there's always going to be slippage on ice with a studless tire like this. So I do have to drive, heads up. You do need to be aware that when you lock them up on ice, even with the anti-lock, you're not going to stop on a dime. So these have been the best performing winter tire I've ever had. And that's going back probably 15 years. I used to rock Blizzaks. I've had Scorpions. And this is the second set of 𝗧𝗢𝗏𝗄𝗧𝗏. But like I said, the R5 on this SQ5, perfect combination. I'm very, very happy with these. These are two 255/45 R20s. I'd like to thank my friends at TunerWorks for helping me equip the SQ5 with these 𝗧𝗢𝗏𝗄𝗧𝗏 R5s. They're balanced really well. The whole experience dealing with them is always a pleasure. It's a great place to spend your money. And yeah, like I said, I'm very, very happy with these, and I anticipate that they will serve me well this season and seasons to come. So not too long ago, followers on Instagram would have seen this blue contraption featured in a post or two. This is the ERGO chair from Bendpak. And Bendpak, they're the company behind the Quick Jack. And they've been awesome to Rad Garage. They've been supporters for many, many years. Recently, my main contact moved on, but the new contact I have is just as awesome and just as supportive. So they decided to send me this to get some impressions. Now, what this is a very adjustable creeper. I have it in the full horizontal position here, but it has different settings, different height settings, and a different incline angle on the back, which I think is pretty cool and allows for a lot of flexibility as far as how you need it to perform. I think this is the most, so there's six different settings. This is the most upright, obviously. So it's an interesting chair. It's unique looking. The issue for me is, even in this most upright setting, does it help me perform the detailing tasks that I undertake here in the garage? So the jury's still out on that. And I know apart from this most upright position, there's really no benefit to me to be laying down. So this is definitely catered toward the mechanic, the person who's working underneath vehicles and working above their head, which I rarely do. So what I've decided to do, I've already talked to my friend Thomas across the street. Thomas is the one who owns that awesome silver BMW 2002 I detailed last summer. He is like a super awesome mechanic. He's always pulling engines out of this car and dropping them in that car. So I've asked him if he would like to demo it, and he definitely accepted that offer. So here we are in the freezing grip of winter right now, but he has a shop out just a little outside the city. He's going to take this in the next coming days and take it out to his shop and see how it performs for him. Neat chair, very generous offer. I just don't know if I'll be able to give Bendpak the kind of feedback they're going to want. You can see it's got a pretty wide wingspan, and working in a 24 by 24 garage, that could be an issue. So if you've got a bigger space, it rolls really well, even on the rib tracks. But if you've got a bigger space and you can afford to have something this size, I think it's a great chair. It comes with some attachments. I don't have them hooked up that hook on the side here, like little trays. But yeah, definitely an interesting product. It's one thing I enjoy about this hobby is seeing all the new products and equipment that get released. All right, so that's the ERGO chair. I'll show you the Lite Stix, which I think is going to be much more practical for my use of the car. So this is the Lite Stix from Bendpak. And what it is it's basically a light bar. I'll put this part down, that's the extension. So this light bar has on-off switches on both sides, and they twist so you can configure this light in many different ways. So there's two settings. There's half bar. I don't know how this will show up on camera. And then there's a double bar. So it's a neat little contraption. Like honestly, it's very convenient. It offers me a lot of flexibility. There are hooks built in to both ends, so you could hang this. And there's also magnets. So that could help me on the garage door. I do have metal side braces. So there's, yeah, I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but you've got 3 magnets there. So I'll show some footage of how this can be configured. So that's just the bar on its own, but it comes with this handy dandy extender bar. So turn those off. The extender bar extends about 1 foot on each side, and it has these cushion clamps. So I think the primary use, the folks behind this invention, is under the hood. So if your hood is up, you could, geez, it's like a workout here. You could extend that so it's supported above your hood. You can get a good look. So for detailing the engine bay, that could be very convenient. So what I see being my primary use is in interiors. When you're working on a black leather interior with black carpets, it can be hard to see everything. So if you mount up the stick in the bar, hit it on double, you could just lay that on the seats, aimed at the dashboard. I did a pic on Instagram where I had it hooked along the seats, just a little bit below the headrests, aiming down at the floor. Lots of different options with that. It's light. Doesn't take up a lot of space. It's convenient. I believe it's battery powered. You know what? I don't even know how it's powered. You know, I'm not used to reviewing things on this channel, so I know my friend Jamie and others like Josh V, they do their research. I just kind of try things out as I go. I don't know how this is actually powered, so maybe I'll drop that below in the comments once I figure out. All right, that's the Lite Stix. There's the Lite Stix by Bendpak. Thank you, Bendpak, for the chair, for the Lite Stix. I'll be providing you with some feedback real soon. All right, let's move on. Better get the key. So I haven't owned a radar detector since I was probably 20 years old. I've done very well avoiding unnecessary traffic tickets just by driving with awareness. Plus, I'm not exactly a heavy-footed driver. But I do fear the number of speed cameras at intersections and red light cameras, and it just causes me anxiety, not even knowing if they're there. So it's not always just the threat of getting a ticket, but just the not knowing. So I've been considering a radar detector for a while,
and I was talking to Rob at TunerWorks, and he graciously extended me the opportunity to demo this Uniden R7. So,
X-band, K-band, Ka-band, laser. GPS connected.
GPS connected. I've been using this detector now for about a month, and I've done a highway trip, plus I do a lot of city driving, and the question that I keep wondering is, do I need it? Is it necessary? Does it serve a purpose and a function in my life? And I don't know what the jury's going to come back with. Some of the things that I found convenient about it are that there are different frequencies it picks up that are not, let's call it a security threat, but you could just click the mute button down here where it plugs in, and it'll actually remember where you muted it in the past. So if it comes across that frequency, say later in that day, it auto mutes itself. So that was my big fear, is that it was going to become an annoyance to me and my family driving around in the city and it going off all these different places. So we take the same route pretty much daily, and you don't hear a peep out of the detector because it knows where it needs to mute itself. One thing you can't mute is when you're coming up to a camera-controlled intersection. It does tell us every day where a certain red light camera is, and we're very aware of it. We've known it for years. And but it also will tell you if you're exceeding the speed limit. So it's very intelligent, and that's all GPS. So from my understanding is it's GPS programmed where the cameras exist. And I believe you can update this as time goes on. Yeah, you know, it's cool. I like having sort of a heads-up display of how fast I'm going because it does display your traveling speed. I'm learning the different functions of it. It's got a city program and a highway program. It's highly programmable. It's highly customizable. I haven't really had a chance to go through all the different menu options. But so far, it's cool. I don't have it hardwired in. Obviously, I'm just giving it a test run. And I know some people can't stand having a cord hanging down on their dash. It doesn't really bother me that much. But if I do decide to go long term, I would probably have it hardwired in. Now, how effective is it? I saw a police officer using the laser. So I pulled a legal U-turn and came through, and it didn't detect anything, which left me quite baffled. The only thing I can think is that because I knew he was there and I was going the exact speed, the legal speed, maybe he didn't actually pull the trigger on his laser gun. But I can't attest to how effective it is, other than it does warn you of upcoming red light speed cameras. I did see a gentleman pulled over on the side of the road a few nights ago who had obviously been speeding, and this thing was just going crazy. So he must have still had his gun on. Yeah, you know, with what technology is available to the police these days, I don't even know if having a radar detector is ever going to get you out of a jam. But I have to say the 20-year-old in me finds it really cool. So I'm interested to hear what your experience is with radar detector systems. This is the Uniden R7. The Uniden R8 is now out. I'm sure it has even more fancy features. I do like the way this mounts up. It's got this really powerful single suction cup. It doesn't wiggle around. It's easy to take out if I don't want to take the risk of having it exposed somewhere where my car's not secure. But yeah, it's been a fun experiment, and I have to thank Rob at TunerWorks for giving me the opportunity to try it out. I'll have to chat with him and see if there's another radar detector he wants me to try out. But so far, this one, I think it can do everything that a radar detector can do. All right, let's move on. So another amazing company I've been fortunate to get to know is Vyper.
Vyper Industrial is the company that creates the Vyper chairs. They've taken the social media world by storm. I've had this one for about 13 months now, and I love it. I love it. It's just a real treat to have a chair that makes you proud to own. It definitely wasn't on the cheap side. I got a bit of a deal through the guys at Vyper, but and then I was very fortunate that TOC Supplies decided to send me the extender bar, which I enjoy. It's got the 2 cup holders on the right. I guess you could turn it any way you wanted, but it also has this convenient holder, this holder system on the left. I then upgraded it to the quick height adjuster. Installed it myself with very little drama. So you could just pull up. Has about 5 different settings, and you can pull this and go down to different levels. Here it is. That's its lowest setting, and that's its highest setting. But 13 months on, there's no signs of wear. You know, obviously I'm not a heavy-duty mechanic, but I've been very impressed with how well it reacts to getting wet. The genuine leather seat, the padding is amazing. It comes with a bit of coping to go around these edges, because the nightmare scenario would be forgetting or having it, you know, slice into a car on either end. If I had one wish, it would be that the extender bar somehow came off quicker. To take this bar off, you basically have to take the chair fully apart. One issue I was having was the cup holders were rattling as the chair moved its way over the Swiss tracks, so I just put some of that blue tack in there to keep them from rattling on the bar. A slight issue is that because there's water and moisture in my garage some days, the corrosion on the main bar has kind of annoyed me. So something that I'm sure I could just wipe it off. But love this chair. Don't love the price. I understand why it's the price it is. This is not something that is built in some rickety factory. It's very well manufactured. It's very well conceived. Highly recommend. I would really like to just at some point gather some funds and get their the low version of the creeper that they have. Yeah, so there's a little update on the Vyper chair, the Rad Garage Edition. So before I close out this winter update, I'd like to say thanks to Juan down in Florida for sending me some Swirl Remover Pro X. These bottles really come in handy. This is an all-in-one compound polish that works on 95% of the stuff I see coming through my garage. So thanks for that, Juan. Great product. You're a great guy. And before I go, I just want to remind viewers that November 30th, I'm very excited to be hosting a special live stream. It'll be earlier in the day, and it's with Pan the Organizer, my Canadian detailing buddy. He's always a great guest. He always has so many interesting insights and shares such valuable information, so I'll be sure to send out some links in the next couple of days for that, because I want to get as many people to tune into that as possible. And hopefully, if everything goes right, I'll be able to meet with Pan and all kinds of other influencers in the new year. Hopefully I'll have more information to share about that real soon. So there you go. There's a little update on how winter's going, and I appreciate you taking the time. I'll try to get some detailing videos out in the near future, but to be honest, it's a tough time of year to convince people to give me their car for 4 days to make it pretty so that they can just drive it out in the winter slop. But I'll do my best. I do appreciate you spending the time here, and until next time, stay rad.